Are you making these costly mistakes in your SEO strategy? Want to know what those costly mistakes are? Stick around to find out. Welcome to eComFiles. We started this podcast to help e-commerce store owners to be successful and reach financial independence, but most importantly, to build momentum and have an impact without burning out along the way. We're going to cover everything from marketing to operations and everything beyond. Let's get started by talking about costly SEO mistakes. Sebastian, what are these costly SEO mistakes that our viewers are making with their e-commerce shops?
Well, there are quite a few that you keep seeing out there. The most costly, probably not the most common anymore, but the one that can really set you back is using black hat techniques. And what black hat really means is, well, Google is trying to achieve, and when I say Google, I mean really any search engine, is trying to achieve that the results that it is showing to people are helpful. And so it put together a system, they put together a system to figure out, how do we know if a website is helpful or not? And a lot of that information that they use is not published. People don't know what the exact formula is. But there are a few things that, well, that are known. And because they are known, other people, bad actors, start trying to, well, misuse the system, trying to come up with ideas of how to make a website look like it is helpful to Google without it actually being. So there are things like putting metadata on there that isn't actually relevant to what the site is showing. That was a common tactic in the beginning. Google doesn't really fall for that anymore. Then the next tactic was keyword stuffing. If you wanted to rank for a keyword, just put that keyword on your site as often as possible, and Google will pick it up. Well, that worked for a while. It doesn't work anymore either. And that's really what's a common thing with black hat SEO tactics is they work really great when they're discovered. And then a few weeks or months later, not only do they stop working, but Google penalizes the pages that have used that tactic. So you might see a quick win, but that will be followed by a deep fall shortly after. And so then you have to work extra hard on getting yourself back out of that hole that you dug yourself. That is number one. Okay. But there are quite a few more. Let's look at the next one. We talked about keyword stuffing. The reason that worked is because, well, people type in search terms, and those search terms, they are really keywords. Now, what are those common words that people are searching for? That is what we call keywords. And if you say you sell plumbing supplies, you want to structure your SEO tactic around what people search for when they look for plumbing supplies. It's kind of common sense, but it is also not that easy. Figuring out, getting yourself into the head of your customers is not trivial for most business owners. So you need to do some research. You need to do what is called keyword research to figure out what are people actually searching for, people that are in the mindset that will make them a likely customer of yours once they land on your page. So, for example, there are long search terms that indicate that somebody is ready to buy. There are also long search terms around the same topic that indicate that somebody is just doing preliminary research. And if you have a store, you probably want to send those "I'm ready to buy" keywords directly to your store. Whereas research search queries, you might want to send to an external site where you're building that audience, or maybe also to your blog, but not directly to your store because they are not ready to buy anyway. So all that goes into keyword research and optimizing for the right keyword. If you get that wrong, you're spending a lot of effort on your SEO tactic and get limited results from it.
That's really interesting. So basically what you're saying is the different keywords can be used for different stages based on where your audience is in the buyer's journey. And you need to be aware of that and where they're being sent based on those keywords. That is a really critical insight. I don't think a lot of businesses are not aware of.
Yes. Like if somebody searches, do I need a fire extinguisher?
Right.
They're fairly early in their research phase. If you send them to a fire extinguisher product page, they're not going to buy.
Right.
If somebody searches for a specific model of a fire extinguisher, they are much more likely to be in that buying phase. And it is also easier to get your product page that has that model rank for that search term. So it's kind of natural too, but you need to be aware of.
Be aware. Right. Okay. Okay.
Then, yes?
What I was going to say is, what about in regards to, I know you talked about like articles. You said something that was really interesting that I've never heard. I've heard people use it for blogs, but you said would that be for other like guest posts or other opportunities potentially too? Would that include social media, or does that even fit?
So it's kind of outside of the topic today, but people use their language. Your customers, your target audience, you are solving a problem. And when they talk about that problem, they use a specific language. That language is generally a different language than the experts use to talk about that same problem.
That's good.
And so you need to hit the language of your customer. If you talk in the language of the experts, which will be easier to you, then you attract your competitors, not your customers.
That's great. Right there. I think that is the gem right there. All right, continue.
So choosing the wrong keywords was a second mistake. The third mistake is, and that might not even register for most people, but it is a really big one, not optimizing for mobile. Now, granted, most web building frameworks nowadays make that easy, but there are still quite a few sites out there that just ignore mobile traffic altogether. And a few episodes ago, we talked about friction. Most people nowadays come to your site on mobile, and if it is not mobile optimized, then there's a lot of friction. And so people just won't buy. So it's just natural. If you care about your customers, you really want to help your customers, you need to provide an experience that works for them. And Google knows that. So it is actually actively penalizing pages that are not mobile optimized. So not only are you losing customers that made it to your site, but you're not getting as many visitors to begin with. So it's a kind of double whammy. And along the same line, the next mistake is general poor website structure and navigation. Like if people can't find what they're looking for, they're just going to go somewhere else, even if you have the better price or the better product.
Right. That's very good. And then, I mean, that will fall under the lines of UI, UX, user interface and user experience, right? As far as, hey, if I come to your site, I'm on your homepage, where do I go? If I'm lost, I'm leaving, right?
Yes. And a third one that falls into that is slow speed. If your website takes more than about a second to load, a lot of your potential customers will go. And it is unbelievable, kind of, because a second is so short. And you might be thinking, if somebody wants to buy from me, they're going to wait a second. But we are talking about all those people that just heard about you, that just found you on Google.
Right.
They click over from Google, your site isn't there, they're just going to go back. So yes, your loyal customers, they don't care about having to wait 2 seconds. But everybody else will find somebody else. And there have been studies. It is actually just around a second that you have.
Wow. And
Google knows that. So it is actually actively penalizing pages that are not fast.
Right.
So again, there's that double thing there.
Yeah.
You're hurting the people, or you're hurting yourself with the people that made it to your site, and you're not getting as many people to your site to begin with.
That's right.
It all falls under user experience. User experience is often an afterthought, but it is so important if you want to be successful.
Right.
Another one is duplicate content. Duplicate content is an odd thing. But if you just have the same article on several websites out there, then Google doesn't know what to think about that, and it treads very carefully. So, while you might have good content, if it shows up in many places, you might lose that benefit of that good content. You're likely not going to get penalized unless you start wildly copying other people's content. Then Google will pick up on that eventually. But just having the same content twice on your own site can hurt. And sometimes that happens unintentionally. Like you might have, your site might work on HTTP and on HTTPS. That's two different URLs to Google. So that in itself might already be an issue. Or your site might work with www.whatever.com and without that www, so just whatever.com. If those two show the same content, that can hurt your SEO rankings. So make sure that you do deduplicate your sites. And there are a few ways you can do that. You can either forward the one to the other. You can tell Google, if you end up here, the canonical URL, the actual URL for that is over there. So I'm not going to forward my visitors to over there, but I'm going to tell Google that over there is the one version of the truth. Google is okay with that. But if you don't put those things in, then you might get hurt by that. There's another one that is maybe not that important to e-commerce, but depending on what you're selling, if that is very localized, then you have to look at local SEO. And local SEO is quite a bit different than global SEO. So if you're selling a product that is localized, that is highly localized, like say you're selling a widget that works only in Chicago and not outside of it, then you need to optimize your Optimize your SEO for that area. Again, probably not relevant for you as an e-commerce store owner, but keep that in mind if you have something like that. And then I think we said that in one of the early episodes too.
Yeah, we did. We talked about logo search.
Yeah, but I'm meaning the next one. If you don't measure it, you can't improve it.
Yeah, oh, that's critical.
So whatever you do to get more traffic to your website, is it SEO, is it paid search, is it influencer outreach, whatever you do, make sure you measure, you track, you use analytics. Google Analytics is really good. If you're a bigger company, there are other analytics providers that are even better, but if nothing else, use Google Analytics and try to understand where is your traffic coming from. Is what I am doing, is that working? And so on. Measure and then use the results and adjust.
Right.
Now, you might also find, if you look for common mistakes out there, that you might also find the mistakes of not keeping up with same changes to the search engine algorithms. But I think that is actually not true. That is not a common mistake.
Okay.
Because I think we said that in the first episode about SEO. What you really should do is provide helpful content for your audience. That should be your main focus. If you do that well, and then add some link building, but do that link building with that same idea in mind.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about Google's algorithm updates.
Right.
That formula will always work.
Yeah, I love that. I love that perspective, because it's really keeping the main thing, right? Providing value to your end user, to your customers, no matter where they are in their journey.
Yes.
That's how you build loyalty. That's how you build trust.
Exactly.
Excellent. Wow. Well, Sebastian, thank you again, man. Thank for the amazing information. For you guys who are watching, thanks for showing up. You know, we hope you found this information valuable. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them below. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful day. Sebastian, any last words for those who may have came on?
I'm just repeating that last item there.
Yeah.
Optimize your site for your customers, for your clients. Provide helpful content, and you will be good to go.
Amazing.
Thanks for